Complicated rhythms. So today we're going to talk about complicated rhythms and how to deal with them easier when reading music. So the part with complicated rhythms is the notes that have a lot of bars going across them. They look very scary, but I have some tips for you that will make it less scary. So if you think about a factor tree in math where you have the large number up top and then you divide you have a list of all of the numbers that divide into that number below it, we'll do the same thing with the notes to just break it down nice and easy. So a half note on top, that will get 2 beats, and that divides into 2 quarter notes. So those 2 quarter notes equal the half note. Now each quarter note divides into 2 eighth notes, and each eighth note divides into 2 16th notes. So there you have it at the bottom. Those are the ones that look really scary. So the way we are going to clap these, we'll start with just the quarter notes. So those are counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we count the word and because that is the space where the eighth notes will lie. So they will sound like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. From there, we are now going to add a syllable between the number and the ands so that we can count where the 16th notes lie. So they go 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Doesn't seem too bad when we're just clapping it out. So now we have 3 examples that get a little bit more tricky as we go along. First, we'll just clap it out nice and slow. We'll talk through them a little bit, and then we'll play it on the piano with our metronomes at 50. The first line, there's nothing really too tricky about this except for measure 2 when we add in the 16th notes. Remember, when we have faster notes, they're still going to take up more space because the note heads are the same space or the same size as the quarter notes. So they look larger, but they're just faster. So remember, the 16th notes go 1E and a. The 8th notes, 1 and quarter notes are just on all the numbers. So we'll go nice and slow, no metronome yet. We'll just keep a nice steady pace and clap through the first line here. So ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1E and a 2 and 3E and a 4 and 1E and a 2 and 3E and a 4 and 1E and a 2 and 3 and 4 and. So here's what it sounds like playing it on one key on the piano with the metronome at 50. So ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1E and a 2 and 3E and a 4 and 1E and a 2 and 3E and a 4 and 1E and a 2 and 3 and 4 and. So not too bad. It makes it a lot simpler when you just take the rhythm out of the music and clap it or play it on one note on the piano. With example number 2, our time signature is now in 3/4, so we have 3 quarter notes, or what is equal to 3 quarter notes in every measure. There's no new rhythms in this one, so we're just going to clap it through nice and slow with counting out loud. So ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1E and a 2 and 3 and 1 and 2E and a 3 and. So again, here it is on the piano with the metronome at 50. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1E and a 2 and 3 and 1 and 2E and a 3 and. All right, for our last example, this is where it gets a little bit scary because we have some dotted notes. So dotted notes are, the dot adds half of the note value. So the first note here is a dotted eighth note. So we are adding what is equal to half of an eighth note, where if you remember from the factor tree, it's like we're adding a 16th note. Remember, we count the 16th notes as 1E and a. So if the first note is the eighth note, so 1E, we're going to add this last 16th note, the and. There's 3 of them in a row. They're going to sound like this, so I won't clap the whole thing. It goes 1E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 and. So that is the first measure, and then we have the next measure. It has one of those dotted eighth notes rhythms with some more eighth notes and 16th notes. We'll do these first two measures first, and then we will do the last two after. So just clapping. Ready, go. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 and. 1 E and a, 2 and, 3 E and a, 4 and. Pretty easy. The next examples, the 16th note is first, and then the dotted 8 is after. So the longer part of that note is on the last part, so we have 1 and then E and A are grouped together. There's 3 of those, and in the last measure we have the dotted 8th note coming after and then before. So there's a couple little tricks with this last one that you have to listen for. So ready, go. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 and. 1 E and a, 2 and, 3 E and a, 4 and. I hope you could hear where that was. So now we're going to play this one on the piano again with a metronome at 50. We'll see how that sounds. So ready, go. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 and. 1 E and a, 2 and, 3 E and a, 4 and. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 and. 1 E and a, 2 and, 3 E and a, 4 and. So there's some examples of some pretty complicated rhythms. Remember, if your music looks very tricky, don't be afraid to just clap out the rhythm only rather than playing. Choose one note on the piano to keep the rhythm on. You don't even have to like clap out loud, just tap. One other tip I have is to use rhythm words. I use the word huckleberry when I'm counting out some 16th notes sometimes, because how they line up with the left hand, that can get pretty tricky. So remember, nice and slow, count out loud, metronome, and you'll get it in no time.